Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and today we are joined by Lauren with Pug Rescue of Florida and Georgia. Lauren, thank you for joining us.
Great, thank you for having me.
So, a little bit for the audience, I want to tell them how I found you, and then we're going to get into it. I was at a nail salon, and I'm a chatty Cathy, and I'm an oversharer, and I'm sitting there doing my nails. I'm also nosy, and I'm listening to this girl beside me, and she's like, oh, I got this new foster dog, and she's talking about him. He sounds like the sweetest little angel. And so I'm not shy. I'm like, oh, who are you fostering for? Like asking 20 questions. And she was like, oh, like Pug Rescue of Florida and Georgia. They're a great organization. And being in Florida, it was crazy. I hadn't heard of the rescue. And I was like, oh my gosh, like tell me more. So we just sat there for the duration of 2 hours talking about dog rescue, talking about pugs, talking about her background and experience. She was just like praising you. And so I started to look into you guys, and I was like, oh, I have to have them on. And if I don't know about them, like other people need to know. And I know that you guys have fosters like in my area in Jacksonville, Florida. So wanted to have you on to talk about the rescue. So let's start with you, Lauren. Tell us
Yes.
all about yourself and how you got into the world of pugs.
Of being the crazy pug lady. Honestly, I blame my husband. It's 100% his fault. Back in 2007, we were engaged and we were talking about getting a dog like after we got married and whatever. And he said that he wanted a pug. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah. Whenever it came out, Men in Black came out. I'm like, oh, you and the
Oh my
rest of the
gosh,
world.
yeah.
You and the rest of the world fell in love with the pugs. And he just goes, I just think they're so cute. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. But I don't buy dogs. I never have. I grew up in rural Georgia. We just took in strays. He grew up with Shih Tzus that his parents bought from breeders, which was fine.
Hmm.
No judgment there, but he
Right.
had no idea. I'm used to the stray that wanders up or the neighbor's dog that has puppies, all that back in my childhood. So I
Hmm.
was like, we're rescuing a dog in need. And he's like, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to find a pug in need. So I found at that time in '07, that was Southeastern Pug Rescue, which
Hmm.
operated, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, southeastern states, and we were in Georgia. I'm from south of Atlanta, and so we've lived in Atlanta. I've lived in Atlanta my whole life, and
Hmm.
that's where we met and everything. So that's where we were at the time. And at that time in '07, in a pug rescue, most of the dogs were older or had medical needs, but he
Yeah.
really he wanted a puppy. And I'm like, you don't want a puppy. They pee and poop all over your house and they chew your toys. And he's very like neat freak OCD. And so I'm like, it's not what you want. But
Right.
I get that you want a younger dog. He wanted a younger dog that he could play with. So it's like, I'll appease you. I filled out the application and they came and did the home check. We got approved. And we're thinking it's going to take up to a year to find a younger pug. I mean, they didn't have any at that time that were even remotely young.
Hmm.
2 weeks later,
Oh
they
wow.
sent me an email 2 weeks later, after 2 weeks after we got approved. So it was probably within like the span of a month of us applying. I get an email that they have a 6-month-old black male, complete opposite of what we thought we wanted. We thought we wanted a fawn female. Neither one of us had ever had a pug. I mean,
Right.
what do we know? What do we know? And it's a black male, 6 months old, with a broken leg, and he's blind in one
Oh.
eye. And I'm
Oh.
like, oh, so you're gonna give us this broken dog? The rescue 100% knew what they were doing. They're like, just can we send you a picture? And I'm like, sure. When I took one look at that picture with this little pug puppy with his big, pitiful, sad eyes, and a cast on his leg like this. I mean, I still have the picture. It is
Yeah.
adorable. And I'm like, I must have him. I must save
Hmm.
him. And so I showed Dane, he's like, I don't even want to see the picture. And I'm like, no, you just need to see the picture. And he
Right.
takes one look and he's like, when are we getting him? When are we going? When and where, how, where do we have to go? It doesn't matter. So we had to wait till his leg was healed. He had been hit. He had been purchased, he was a purebred pug that had been bought by a family. He was blind in an eye because somehow at 4 months old, he got poked in the eye with a stick or something. That's the story that we were told.
Right, right.
And then at 6 months, he got hit by a car. So they took him, they were in rural Tennessee, and they took him to the vet and said, euthanize him. And the
Mm,
vet was like, I still have the records, the handwritten vet records, $333 to fix the dog's
wow.
leg. Because he was
Which
so
seems
young.
like nothing if you're in this
Nothing.
world and you know what you've spent on other things. You're
Well,
like, oh,
they
easy.
bought a pug puppy for probably $1,000 or, whatever it was.
Hmm.
Puppies are not cheap. I mean, granted, this was in 2007, but still,
Right.
they bought a purebred pug puppy and then they're like, well, we're not going to pay the $333 vet bill. Just put him down. And thankfully, the vet was like, he doesn't even need surgery. He just needs a cast because he was so
Hmm.
young. And so, with all that being said, the vet said, sign him over to me and I'll find a rescue and contacted Southeastern Pug Rescue. So, when he was 8 months old, his leg was healed. He was blind in one eye, but it was not even a big deal. It was not even, he had no idea. You had no idea. I mean, it was a big deal. We drove 8 hours round trip in one day to go pick him up from Tennessee. We named him George. And George was our precious angel, love of our life. He was our world until he passed away in 2020. So that is how I got into the pug, is because of Dane. It's all his fault.
Hmm.
And George and was our baby. And so then he passed away in July of 2020 when the world was shut down
Right.
and nothing going on. So I was like, I swear I'm never getting another dog, but I want to foster and volunteer in his memory. Over the years, we had not fostered, but I'd volunteered at different rescues and animal shelters, more animal shelters that have physical facilities. Like here in Atlanta, there's a
Hmm.
few different ones. I'd volunteered and like would go and walk the dogs for the day or play with the cats or whatever. So I said I wanted to actually foster. About this time, this was October 2020. Southeastern Pug Rescue had closed, as a lot of rescues do.
Yeah.
So, and there was no active pug rescue in Georgia. The closest one I could find was Pug Rescue of Florida. So I reached out to them, filled out an application on their website to foster, and I got a phone call from someone with the rescue, and turns out that two of their longtime volunteers, because the rescue's been around since 2003, two of their longtime volunteers had actually relocated to Georgia and were
Mm.
living like outside of Atlanta, north of the city, and they had been trying to fill the gap that existed in Georgia because there was no active pug rescue.
Hmm.
They'd filed with the Department of Agriculture to get approved to operate in the state, but then COVID happened. The government shut down. All that stuff was super delayed.
Hmm.
So that's how I got involved. They're like, "Hey, you're in Atlanta. You've, got a rescue experience." And I work for myself. I have my own business. So I'm very flexible hours. And they're like, "Do you want to help us get this Georgia chapter off the ground?" And I'm like, "Sure, absolutely. Right up my alley." I love, I did event planning, like trade show event planning for many years. So I love, any kind of project like that. And I was
Right.
like, I got spreadsheets, we got this, no problem. And so by August 2021, finally, we had the inspection and the interview process with the Georgia Department of Agriculture. We were finally licensed and by the state of Georgia in 2021. And so then we were operating in both states, and fast forward to now, and somehow I've become the vice president over the years. Not sure how that happened. Maybe they just saw a sucker who couldn't say no to the pugs. I don't know, but it's been great. It's been awesome, and we operated as the Georgia chapter for a while, and then
Hmm.
eventually we realized we needed to incorporate the name and actually become Pug Rescue of Florida and Georgia. And so that's what we did. And we've been doing that for quite a few years now. This is going to be, I think this year is 2003. This is our 22nd year of
Wow.
rescuing pugs.
That's a
Yeah,
long time for a rescue, like a
yeah,
very long time.
it's a very long time. And it was the beginning. It was January of 2003 when they first filed, and then approved in February 2003. And then we got the 501(c) status in March of 2003. So yeah, it's been 22 years and a lot. I mean, it's a really long time for a
Yeah.
rescue. It really is. It's not easy. It's
Right.
hard. It's it's hard. So
Yeah.
I'm very impressed, and it's pretty cool that some of the same people are still around. And, maybe
Mm-hmm.
they've come in and out over the years, but I've met quite a few people that have been there since day one. And it's crazy how far it's come. I mean, the rescue has come in those years and the changes and just, with the way the world changes and the world operates, it's inevitable. But the fact that we're still operating is fantastic. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And it makes me proud to be a part of the rescue
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. So,
So over the years, have you guys seen the number of pugs coming in? Have you seen that increase over time?
oh yes, absolutely. So was looking up some stats earlier today just so that I could, give you some actual facts of numbers from before I was around. So let's see. When the rescue started in 2003, they estimated that they could help 70 pugs a year.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 2003, and that they would spend $13,000 on vet care. 70
That's
pugs,
low. That
13,000.
sounds great. I'm like, okay.
We spent 14,000 on one pug recently.
I
One,
believe it.
one.
I
He's
believe it.
6 month old. $14,000 on one dog. So, in 2005, this year to date, at the end of August, we are on track to help more than 200 pugs. Right now, we are at 178 pugs for the year.
For
78
2025.
for 2025. We
Wow.
have helped 178 pugs since January. So it'll be over 200 by the end of the year. And our vet bills are right now at $227,000. So, and that's not just there's more expenses to operating
Yeah.
a rescue than just vet bills. Our expenses are at $261,000
Mm-hmm.
year to date.
I I
It's
think it's
huge.
important for you to give those numbers because people are like, "Well, why am I paying an adoption fee?" Like, I'm doing a favor to you taking this dog that no one wants. And it's like, no, like we've
No.
cared for this dog, we've given medical care. Maybe we did a
Mhm.
microchip, a surgery, a spay or neuter. We've fed, we've housed, the list goes on and on. And even if the dog you're adopting only costs the rescue a couple $100, like you said, the next dog might cost 14,000. So that's, yeah, I think it's important for people to hear those numbers because, and they also assume, I've learned this in the last year, people assume just because you're a rescue, like you don't really have vet bills, like the vets just write it off. And it's like, no, like
No.
some vets will
Mm-mm.
work with you and give you like 10% off, 20%. They might throw in a little nail trim every now and again, but like you're
Yep.
not getting this for free.
Nope, we're not at all. And if anyone who owns an animal, a dog, cat, whatever it may be, and takes them to the vet, you've seen how much vet bills have increased over the
Yeah.
years. I mean, they have gone up. Even my own two pugs, I, recently took one to the vet, and the exam that used to be $50 is now $79.
Yeah.
And that's in the 4 years that I've had the dog. I've only had him for
Right.
4 years, and it's just the exam fee.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we don't get a lot of we do get some discounts. Some
Hmm.
vets give us zero discounts.
Right.
Other vets are very generous and will give us 20%. It maybe it depends. But just today we had to have a pug's eye removed, emergency surgery. She
Mm.
got a melting eye ulcer, $5,000.
Wow.
She's two. She's like 2 years old.
Gosh.
Yeah, but it's $5,000. That's with our discount.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is that was the two or two, I can't remember, I think maybe 2 days in the hot in the at the vet, 2 days,
Hmm.
2 nights removing her eye. They treated it to try not to have to remove it. It was not responding. So then they're like, we've got to remove this now. So they
Hmm.
did, and then we got the bill, and it's $5,000. That was just today. That's one dog, and
Yeah.
that's just her eye. Like she also needs a spay. She needs
Hmm.
vaccines. All of those things. Our average cost per dog is 1,700. So
Oh, wow.
1,700 is the average per dog.
And what's your
Like,
adoption fee?
so our adoption fees are based on age.
Okay.
So we have a range, like a puppy, which would be under a year,
Hmm.
which we actually do. We get puppies. We have a, let's see, 5 month old right now,
Hmm.
is about 1,050 would be the adoption fee for a puppy, young puppy, and
Yeah.
then it goes down from there. So then our seniors, which are over age 10, could be $250. Some of our seniors are free, some are $0.
Hmm.
We have that we have a new initiative called the Senior Pug Pals, and we were very fortunate to receive a grant from the Gray Muzzle organization this year. And it's a national nonprofit that's dedicated to saving and improving the lives of at-risk senior dogs.
Mm,
So Susan's our president, and we wrote this grant together
hmm.
and applied with the Gray Muzzle organization, and we got a grant, which was very exciting for us. And so we created a program called Senior Pug Pals, which is to help. We get about 40% of our intakes every year are senior pugs, which is over the age of
Aw.
10. About 40% of our intakes are seniors.
Hmm.
And more than 80% of those have never had vet, like have never been to the vet or have not
Yeah.
received care in 2 or 3 years. So, with all that being said, that grant is helping to cover adoption fees for these seniors so that
Hmm.
we can say this senior is a zero adoption fee. So the range varies for our adoption fee, but understand like that puppy that we just spent $14,000 on,
Right.
6 months old. I mean, I can't do math very well, but pretty sure 1,050 isn't covering that,
Right.
So,
Right.
and the seniors, which are 250 or free or less, whatever, they're usually the most expensive
Yeah. Oh,
because, like
yeah.
I said, they haven't had, even if they have had vet care, they still are seniors, and we know they get more
Yeah.
expensive the older they get. But the 80% of them haven't been to the vet in over a year. Most of
Hmm.
them haven't been in 4 or 5 years or never,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, that just adds up to years of a domino effect of issues just compounding on.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, adoption fees. Just to give you some more numbers, adoption fees year to date, $65,000. So if
Mm,
our medical bills are 227 and we've gotten 65,000 from adoption fees, again, that's not
right.
even covering 30% of our medical
Yeah.
bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, adoption fees are not, we're not over here. We've been accused of making a profit. We've been
Right.
accused of, all sorts of things. And I don't, I try to explain to people. I actually had an adopter recently, a few months ago. He adopted one of my fosters, and he kind of made a comment about that he thought the adoption fee was a little high.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay. So and I really liked this guy. He was a great guy, like loved him. He was a great adopter. And I was kind of taken aback that he said that in an email. And I was like, okay. So I just pulled up the invoice and I
Hmm.
just went and I sent it to him and I said, here is what we have spent
Right.
on her. And it was 2,000 plus dollars. And I think
Yeah.
the adoption fee was like 700 or something. And
Hmm.
so once I showed that to him, he went and I said, oh, and by the way, now your dog is fully vetted. She doesn't have to go to the vet for a year.
Right.
She's,
Exactly.
unless an emergency or something happens, but
Hmm.
she's, vaccinated, spayed, microchipped, had a heartworm test.
Hmm.
We'll get down to heartworm stuff. We send 6 months of heartworm medication with every dog that gets
Hmm.
adopted. Basically, unless there's some sort of emergency, that dog does not have to go to the vet for a year.
Yeah.
So once he saw what we had spent, and then he was kind of thought about it, and he's like, "All right, never mind. I feel bad."
Yeah,
And
it's
he
really an
paid it.
educational piece. I mean,
Yes,
it's just truly
yes,
educating people. I think about my dogs. So I have four, two of them being seniors, and I spend usually, and it's excessive, but I spend between 1,500 and 2 grand a month on my four. Like,
yeah, easy,
yeah,
absolutely.
easy. I could probably spend more, to be
Mhm.
honest with you. I try not to. Let's dive into where you guys get your dogs from because you did mention the seniors, and that
Yes,
breaks my heart, and it leads me to believe you're seeing a lot of owner surrenders, but let's talk about
yeah.
where you're seeing the dogs come from.
So the majority of, I would say, 80% of our dogs are owner surrenders.
Oh, man, that hurt.
Yeah, we got two, let's see, right now, we got two owner surrender forms today.
Mm.
With that, we'll make six for the week. Six
Six for
owner
the week.
surrender for
Wow.
the week
Okay.
since I believe Sunday. So 4 days in.
Yeah.
Six. Yeah. And I was also contacted about two on social media they haven't even sent in the surrender form yet, but
Mm.
I've been messaging with people on social media. So that's two more potentials that could come in down the line.
Yeah.
And that's just in 4 days.
Yeah.
Majority are owner surrenders. And let's see, I was trying to think. So yeah, we got two forms today. So We never know what like the week's going to be if it, or the day. We've taken in as many as 17 dogs in one week,
All
in
owner
7 days.
surrenders.
All owner surrenders.
Wow.
We don't get a lot out of shelters per se. Um, we usually will get contacted if a pug ends up in a shelter.
Hmm.
I mean, all shelters have stray holds and all that kind of
Right,
stuff.
right,
So a lot of them, a lot of the ones that I see, people will contact me. Oh, this dog's in the shelter. I'm like, yeah, it's got a 5 day stray hold.
right.
Just give it a minute. And
Hmm.
usually it's the pug got out. It gets picked up. The ones that we see in the shelters have clearly been dumped
Hmm.
because and not all of them. I'm not saying the majority, but I'm
Right.
saying the majority, not 100%. But the majority are going to be ones that someone's dumped because they're sick or old or blind, or they just don't want them anymore, whatever it may be. Some are randomly younger and that kind of stuff, but we don't get a ton from shelters. I don't want to, I mean, I'd say maybe I could look it up, but maybe 10%. I hope that's
Hmm.
correct. Hope that's correct. The others are going to be online, on social media, on Craigslist. People
Um,
are giving away and selling their dogs on Facebook, Nextdoor, Craigslist, everywhere online
hmm.
all the time. And so we have people that we have, sometimes we have volunteers that's what they just scroll through Craigslist and they'll find someone giving away, and they're always intact. I mean, always,
Always, yeah.
and
Because
that's
they
our
they tried to keep them to breed them and make some
Mhm.
money, and then it didn't
Yep.
quite work out. Ugh.
Yes,
Yeah.
and when we're not doing this, like I'm not sitting around and doing this for the rescue, but we just have some volunteers that is their calling. That's what they want to do. That's on them. And if they see, a dog, and they'll if they and they're intact, and they're like, we can't let this dog be given away to some random person who knows what they're going to do with it. They're
Right.
gonna, breed it to death again, or it's going to be going to dog fights. Yes, dog fighting
Mhm.
rings still exist.
Oh,
They
yeah,
still
especially in
exist.
Florida and Georgia.
Yep, especially in those areas. And pugs are pretty docile.
Mm.
That they're not going to fight back. So in general, not true with all of them.
Mhm, mhm.
We'll get to misconceptions about pugs later, because that's something I do want to talk about. But I have been told that pugs are big in dogfighting rings because they can't bite the way another dog can. Their jaws don't function that way. So they're an easy target for a
Yeah.
dogfighting ring. They're a very easy target,
Ugh,
unfortunately.
yeah.
So we have people that, they're volunteers that will find a dog on Craigslist and go and get it and, take it to the vet and all that, and then say, hey, can I surrender it to the rescue?
Mhm.
Absolutely. We will take that. No problem.
Yeah.
We'll take that dog. But the majority are owner surrenders.
What would you
Lots of owner surrenders.
say for the owner surrenders? Like, what are the top 2 reasons? Assuming they give you, like, a reason. Like, what are the top 2 or 3?
So in Florida, the because Florida is I think the second highest, I believe it's like the second highest state with senior citizens.
Mm,
I'm pretty
mhm,
sure.
mhm.
I'm pretty sure it's like it's the state with the second highest, number of senior citizen people,
Right.
because it's a retirement state. So in Florida, we see a lot of owner surrenders because the elderly owner can either no longer take care of the dog, went into the hospital, went into a nursing home, or the person dies.
Yeah.
And no one wants the dog. Nobody in the
Mhm.
family wants the dog. No one, which is, talk to your family, talk to your friends. I don't care how old you are. Dane and I I'm 47, he's 50. We have had this discussion. We have a will. We have designated, if something happens to one of us or both of us and we get hit by a bus or go down in a plane, here's where our dogs are going.
Mhm.
We have a plan for them, because I don't care how old you are. You never know if tomorrow is going to be here. Please
Yeah.
have a plan for your animals. Please have a plan, and make
Mhm.
sure that someone's going to take them for you, or whatever, or give them back to the rescue. My dogs,
Right.
if the rescue, if something happens to, like, both of my pugs are from the rescue. If we got hit by a bus tomorrow, they would technically need to go back to the rescue, because
Mhm.
we will take any of our animals back at any time, no matter what. It's in our contract. And it
Hmm.
says if you can no longer take care of your animal, then it needs to come back to the rescue. But
Right.
so we see tons and tons of that, of the elderly having, and the dogs aren't necessarily elderly. The dogs could be young. The dogs could be very young, but the person was older, got sick, nursing home, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
So that's a big one. The other one we see a lot of is financial.
Yeah.
We see
Especially right
financially,
now.
yeah, financially, that they can't afford it anymore. The other one would be, sorry, my brain just froze for a minute. It's financial and, oh my gosh, right now we're seeing young dogs. Lots of people are getting puppies
Hmm.
because there's so many breeders. There's more breeders, and I'm not talking about the ethical, the good breeders, the ones that are doing it to preserve the breed. Those are
Right.
very few and far between in this world
Yeah.
today. Let's just be honest, especially for pugs.
Yeah.
I don't know about other breeds. I live in the world of pugs, and
Hmm.
there are so many backyard breeders, I like to call them kitchen breeders, where it's like, oh, I've got two pugs and I want them to have a litter together.
Hmm.
No. Or the accidental litter. That's my favorite. That's I
Hmm.
oh accident we had an accidental litter. Well, it's not accidental if your dogs are fixed, but
Right.
okay. So with
Yeah.
all that being said, there's more dogs than there are responsible owners. So we are getting people that are getting puppies,
Hmm.
pug puppies, which this is where I want to go into my misconceptions about pugs,
Yeah.
is what I want some people to really understand, especially people that have never had pugs, because a lot of
Hmm.
people, again, it goes back to Men in Black. Pugs are in all these movies these days. They're in
Hmm.
TV, social media, Doug the Pug, all these, influencers on, and
Right.
they're, oh my God, they're so cute, they're so funny, blah blah. Yeah, they are, they're great, but that's not
Hmm.
telling the whole story about about
Right.
pugs. Okay, pugs are not low maintenance. They are not low maintenance pets, and this breed comes with medical and behavioral challenges that other dogs don't have.
Hmm.
And not every pug is a lazy little couch potato.
And I think
That's
that's one big thing. People think a
Mhm.
pug's just going to come lay on the couch, be a big old potato, and that's not
No,
true.
no, it's not true at all. Now, maybe down the road they'll get that way, but we see a lot of young pugs surrendered because families expect that. They're like, oh, but
Mm,
it has been written in many a surrender form. I need you to take this 1.5 year old dog pug because I thought pugs were supposed to be lazy. They have too much energy. You got a puppy.
right.
All puppies, pugs included, are energetic, curious. They're like little drunken toddlers running around your house
Yeah.
that need supervision, structure, training, discipline. They need a lot of things in their first year of life. And I cannot tell you how, I mean, weekly, we get weekly a young dog that is, it's too much. It's too much. Um, and it's exhausting, and it's always from a breeder.
Yeah.
Always, where'd you get the dog? A breeder or a pet store. Pet stores,
Mm,
so many pet stores
gosh.
in Florida. That's another, oof, they
Yeah.
need to just go. One of my pugs is from Petland. I didn't buy him there, but he was surrendered at a year and a half old, COVID puppy. No
Hmm.
socialization, complete nightmare. I mean, completely,
And usually
unsocialized.
so many health issues, like,
Well, so that's what the next thing is, that yes, they've got great big personalities. They're not all couch potatoes. They're super funny. They're great dogs. I love them.
hmm,
They have big medical needs as well.
yeah.
So many medical needs that they're, the way they are being bred again and not taking into account all of these, like stop breeding when you have dogs with liver shunts.
Yeah.
You've got joint problems because you've got hip dysplasia, you've got luxating patella, and then these people we have seen so many cases of luxating patella and hip dysplasia recently.
Hmm.
And we actually get dogs from breeders. We have multiple pugs that will get a breeder's done breeding the dog and they
Right.
can't sell it. And so they're like, here, will you take it? Sure, absolutely. We'll take the dog. They all have hip dysplasia.
Yeah.
We're like, the 3-year-old dog. I'm like, it's crazy. And they're just being bred though. That's
Mm-hmm.
genetic. That's going to keep
Yeah.
going and going. Eye problems. Eye problems, I mean, their eyes are like big saucers. They stick out, they poke out. They're very susceptible. Like I said today, we've had a 2-year-old pug that came up with an ulcer like 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and there was nothing that came out of nowhere.
Right.
No idea how it happened. I myself have dealt with George had so many medical issues. He had 11
Mm-hmm.
surgeries over his lifetime. He had a
Wow.
double corneal graft at UGA because he had two ulcers that were, melting in his good eye. So
Mm-hmm.
he was going to be completely blind at like the age of 10. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
we're going to do everything we can to save it. But eye drops, a lot of pugs need eye drops for the majority of their life because they have dry eye. Breathing issues are huge. We're seeing a
Yeah.
lot more that need the nares done, just like the nostrils, and then the boas, which is, in the elongated palate issue. We've been seeing a lot more of that, which is
Mm-hmm.
also another breeding issue where
Right.
it's genetic, it's hereditary. Um, the other thing people don't know about pugs is their mouth. So they've got those crazy little, mouths that are like the clown, your Cheshire cat, but
Yeah.
they've got the same amount of teeth, 42 teeth in that mouth that a German Shepherd, a Mastiff, the bigger
Mm.
dogs do. But they're
Mm-hmm.
all shoved in there. They're all crowded in there and they're crossing each other and they're doing all this crazy stuff. Pugs in general, they need dentals.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I know lots of people that their pug gets a dental every year because that's how
Yeah.
bad their teeth are.
Yeah.
It's
Same as like
crazy.
Pomeranians, like in those smaller dogs, and especially with
Mhm.
breeding issues and the breeders not doing a good job. Yeah,
Yeah,
our palms are up to like twice a year getting dentals. Like
yeah,
and that's an expense that people need to be prepared
yes.
for.
And it's not $100. I mean,
No.
it's not a hundred
No.
dollars, and that's an expense we deal with as well. Getting these surrenders who have never had a dental.
Mm,
And, then we spend $2,000 because the dog's going to have 15 teeth extracted because
right.
their mouth is completely full of pus. And people don't understand that can kill your dog. Periodontal disease is real and it can go to your heart, go to the dog's heart, get in their bloodstream, all that bacteria, and your dog can die from that. It's
Yeah.
not just bad breath or, it's just not dog bad breath. No, imagine if you never brushed your teeth for like 10 years
Hmm.
ever.
Right, right.
It's pretty gross what is in some of these dogs' mouths. So we try to educate. We really, really try to educate people on helping. We can help future owners understand the realities of the breed. It's
Hmm.
one way that we can try to help keep pugs out of our rescue
Yeah.
in the
Do you
first
guys
place, like out of
have
any rescue.
do you guys have stuff on your website, like different resources or different things like on the breed itself?
So we don't yet, but that's on my list. And
Okay.
actually after today, because I did like, my little document. I love a spreadsheet. I love a document. And so I did like a document with questions you might ask. And actually Susan and I said, this is I sent it to her before the interview today. And I said, and we both agreed that a lot of this information will be great to put on the website.
Yeah.
So that's my next thing. We're going to have a resources page because I think it's
Hmm.
very important. I actually have the page already created, but it's hidden. It's
Yeah, yeah,
just been
yeah.
sitting there waiting for the time,
Right.
and all my free time and all my free time of having, like all of our volunteers who are not paid employees. We are all volunteers. We have lives, we have jobs, we have
Yeah.
husbands, wives, families, children, parents we take care of, children we take care of, whatever it may be, full-time jobs, whatever it is. Then we do this in
Hmm.
whatever free time we have, which,
Right.
and I actually work more for free volunteering for the rescue than I do on my full-time job. It's crazy.
I
Like,
believe that. I
you know,
absolutely believe that.
people have no idea how much time we spend
Yeah.
on these dogs, and which is I will do it. I love it. I love them. This is my
Hmm.
life. I love it. Not complaining,
Right,
but
right.
also we want to educate people
Yeah.
that it's not. And I didn't know before I got into rescue. I had no idea what
Yeah.
went on in the background. You don't know what you don't know.
Right,
So
exactly.
so educating is very big on our list. We really try to educate people. Heartworm prevention is something we are really big on and educating people about that. We have a program on our website, Heart for Pugs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's where we want to educate. We get a lot of heartworm positive dogs. We've had a lot of heartworm positive pugs, and we're trying to educate people on that. People
Yeah.
don't understand. I get it. You don't want to spend the money because you think your dog doesn't go outside that much. No,
Mm-mm.
we had a dog that lived inside of a house with a hoarder. The dog never left the
Mm.
house. He was heartworm positive.
Yeah.
They
Especially where
you
we live in Florida and
correct.
Georgia. I mean, because mosquitoes are year
Yes.
round. They
Hmm.
get in your house. It's yeah.
Yes.
And it's just so much
Yeah.
cheaper. People have heard me say it on at least 30 episodes. It's just so much
Yes.
cheaper and easier to prevent heartworms versus treating it. And and the treatment's just, it's not fun for anyone. It's not fun for the owner. It's not fun for the dog. And I've been up on that soapbox for so long. I think I'm going to stay on the
Yes.
soapbox until more
Yes, you
and more
should.
people.
Please. Yes. Well, and
Yeah.
it can kill your dog. The dog
Yeah.
that had the heartworm disease that lived inside the house, he died. He died from
Hmm.
it, from
Yeah.
the heartworms, because we don't know how long he had it. And by the time
Right.
we got him, he was a senior. He was like 13 years old,
Mm.
and he had heartworms. And the vet was like, this is going to be very difficult to treat because the treatment
Yeah.
might kill him.
Right.
And anyways, he did end up dying, and it was from the damage due. We had him for a month maybe, and it was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking for that foster, heartbreaking for the foster that had to, deal with that. And then he came in with another dog, and so the two of them had been together their whole lives, and now that poor senior is left without his best friend. Like, it was
Mm.
for something that could have been easily prevented.
Right.
It's so
100%.
easily prevented.
Yeah.
So we do try to educate. Every foster dog that comes in, they get a 6-month supply of heartworm prevention at
Hmm.
their intake exam, and that medication goes with them to their new home. So we provide that to the adopter to make sure that they get started off on the right foot. And, in our contract, it says you must provide this for the rest of their lives. And
Hmm.
hopefully we do a good enough job of vetting our adopters that they do it,
Yeah.
we hope. But that's another thing, educating people on heartworm. We've had people, because we require that adopters use heartworm prevention for
Hmm.
their current dogs. We have had a
Right.
few. Yeah, we've had a few that for whatever reason don't use it or stopped using it or whatever. Back in the day, it probably would have been an automatic no, we're not even adopting to you.
Yeah.
Well, now depending on the situation, we
Hmm.
use it as an education,
Yeah.
as a time to educate.
Right.
And we have adopted two people who didn't use heartworm, but after speaking with them extensively and talking about it, etc., they're like, I now get it. I
Hmm.
understand. And I promise. And they've gone out and bought it and showed us the receipts and proven to us that they will do it.
Hmm.
But even sometimes they're like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I'm
Yeah.
still not going to do it. Okay, then you're not going to adopt from us.
Right.
But at
Exactly.
least we shared the information and we tried. It's all we can do. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't force him to drink.
Right. Right.
So, but we tried.
Hmm.
So educating about those things is very important to us.
Hmm.
Yep.
And you mentioned fosters, so let's
Yes.
pivot and let's talk about all of the ways that people can help you. I mean, obviously, fostering is huge, fostering is
Hmm.
great. Talk a little bit about that and like where people would need to be located, but then also talk about, anyone else listening to this that's maybe not within your radius, like how they can help
Hmm.
you.
So fosters are the key, obviously, to rescue. Without fosters, we can't rescue pugs. We have to have
Mhm.
somewhere for them to go. Which is, when I say sometimes that, like we've got 39 dogs in rescue right now. We have two that are waiting to come in. I mean, they're going to
Mhm.
come in, but we just are trying to line up fosters for them. And then
Right.
we have, that's not counting four others that I talked about, like the two forms that came in today. We've got four others that we've got to figure out fosters for.
Yeah.
That's not confirmed yet. So fosters are they're the backbone of the organization. That's how
Mhm.
we run. We don't have a building. We are all foster homes. We have about 50 active foster homes, which sounds like a lot.
That does sound like a lot,
It
but
does,
always need
but
more.
but think about it. We have 39 dogs in our rescue right now. So if we have 50 homes, take out 39, 13 of those dogs are forever foster care. So they're never leaving our rescue. They're going to
Mm.
be in our rescue until they die.
Mhm.
That could be tomorrow. That could be 6 years from now.
Yeah.
It's not all senior dogs. We have a 4-year-old pug we have a 1-year-old pug that's a forever foster just because of his
Really?
medical, yeah, just because of his
Mm.
medical needs. He's got hydrocephalus and some things.
Oh, yeah.
We have a 4-year-old pug who has some laryngeal collapse. He could live 10 more years, but our
Mhm.
rescue will pay for him for the next 10 years. And that foster will have him for however long he lives. So
Right.
she's full. She's full. She can't take another
Yeah.
dog. 50 minus 39. So let's say we've got 11 open homes. Well, we don't really have 11 just waiting for a dog because everybody has a life. Everybody is, some people are traveling,
Mhm.
taking vacation. Uh, some of our fosters, I've had someone who had a knee replacement. Well, she's
Mm.
out for 3 months. Or someone recently had a sick mom and she's like, I've got to go take care of my mom for 2 to 3 weeks. Everybody has lives
Yeah.
outside of rescue. So they're not just sitting around just waiting to be given a dog. They want to help, but they have lives and they can't always. And the other thing is, depending on every foster home is not the match for every
Right.
dog that comes
Yeah.
in. Like I have two males. One is the sweetest, most precious little angel. He gets along with everybody. The other
Mhm.
one, not so much.
Yeah.
He's my special child, my COVID puppy, who was never socialized the first year of his life. He is he's aggressive. He will bite. Hates an unneutered male dog. He does not like
Mm.
them. He gets very upset. So I foster, but I can only take a certain type of dog because I don't want to disrupt. I call it disrupting the apple cart. I don't
Mhm.
want to disrupt my house as much
Yeah.
as I possibly. Sometimes it just has to happen, and I have to bring in the dog, and he just has to get over it for a few days, and it's fine. You can do anything when you know there's an end in sight. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
That's fine. But like with that being said, not everybody is willing. Not every foster is willing. Oh, sure, I'll take that dog in the wheelchair, no problem.
Mhm.
When you live in a 3-story townhouse,
Right, exactly.
so it's not so those 11 houses are not or foster homes. It's not really that many, and also so also people come and go. People come and
Mm.
go. Lives change. I have a foster that's moving to Colorado
Yeah.
this month. She's gone. Her and her husband are moving, and that I lost her. She's out. I don't have anybody to replace her.
Mhm.
So things happen. So we always need more fosters, but the cool thing about what I don't think people know about I don't know, I'm sure other rescues do it, but ours specifically, we have
Mhm.
multiple types of fosters needed.
Mm.
Multiple types. And every type helps us. Every
Yeah.
single one helps. So we need regular fosters, the general fosters. That's the backbone of the fostering program, the most needed type. The person that will take the dog, keep them from 2 weeks to a few months until the dog
Mhm.
is adopted. That, of course, we need. We also need short term or intake fosters. Can you foster for just a weekend? Like
Yes.
if sometimes we get emergency situations. We For some reason, holidays such as Memorial Day, 4th of July, and
Mm.
Christmas, everyone likes to give up their dog around these days.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
guess,
inconvenient because you got family
uh,
coming over.
everybody's out of town Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody's at the lake the 4th of July or whatever it may be. I mean, I was in France at Christmas last year. My husband and Dane turned 50, and so we went to France for his birthday. We got a surrender form for like 5 dogs on Christmas Day. Yeah, they're like, they need to be gone in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
So, I and luckily my team stepped up and handled it. I'm, in France, whatever, and they figured it out and worked it out, but that would be a short term where we're like, "Hey, everybody's out of town. Can you
Yeah.
just take this dog for 3 days until so and so comes back?" And then she'll take over or he'll take over or whatever. So short term is huge. Intake, if you can just take a dog for a week and get them to
Mhm.
the vet and just see what's going on with them
Mhm.
and then we can move them. That's huge. Vacation and temporary fosters. So if our fosters need to travel, that their foster pug has to go somewhere.
Hmm.
I mean, they can't just leave them at home. You don't just leave your dog at home,
Right.
on it's left to its own accord. So we need people that can just vacation foster for our fosters. That's huge too,
Hmm.
because people sometimes are like, well, I can foster, but I'm going out of town at the end of October. I mean, I'm going out of town at the end of October myself. So if I take a foster, I know I've got to find a place for that dog to go by October 28th.
Hmm.
So if we can say not a problem, we've got somebody lined up, it's so helpful.
Yeah.
Um, Quarantine fosters. So when we do get pugs out of shelters, shelters are very nasty places, and there's a lot of respiratory issues,
Hmm.
especially in pugs. So we need someone who has no other pets, no other dogs or cats, or a place where they can separate them.
Hmm.
So that we can bring that dog in that could have kennel cough, we don't know,
Yeah.
and not get anyone else's animals sick. So we need quarantine fosters. It's very hard to find people that don't have any other pets that want to foster.
Right.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But even if you have like a carriage house or a basement or a heated garage or something like
Hmm.
that, that you can keep the dog separate, for a few days or a week till we figure out if he's sick or if they're sick or not. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
the last thing would be what we call forever care foster, which would be, like a long-term care. Some people call it hospice,
Hmm.
sanctuary pug, that type of stuff. Well, that's where that pug is going to have a long-term. We have figured out they're going to have long-term special needs, and they're going to stay with us for the rest of their life.
Hmm.
And we need a foster that's willing to do that, because it could be 2 months, it could be 2 years.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So for Forever Care Fosters is a very, very special person to do that. It's amazing. And we have people that have been doing it for us for years, but even they, they can't do it all, and they're full. I mean, they can't take
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
So because our pugs are living forever at their house. That's their specialty. They're good at doing those things, and so they come in and we think, oh, that pug's going to be here for like a month. Nope, 2 years later, still kicking, which is great. We love that, but we
Yeah.
need more people to help with
Right.
that. So we have all of those different types of foster homes that are needed,
Hmm.
and we can go to our website and submit a foster application. We are all over Florida and Georgia. It does say on our website specific areas. There are certain areas in Florida where we aren't located, and certain areas in Georgia where we aren't located, just because we have what we call coordinators, which
Hmm.
are in each area. So, we've got a coordinator in Fort Lauderdale, coordinator in St. Augustine, Jacksonville, coordinator in Tampa, all the
Hmm.
different areas. But we, in some of those, just, Florida's a very long,
Yeah.
state. Some areas there's a lot of rural, middle of the state, or way off places. We don't have coordinators, so we can't really put a foster there,
Hmm.
because we don't have a vet that we work with. You have to be able to take them. We have rescue vets that we're set up with,
Right.
and we have to be able to have a rescue vet. We have to be able to have a coordinator to handle that foster and be a point person, and be able to go and I mean, I go with a lot of my fosters, not at my house, but my foster homes. I go and meet them at the vet.
Hmm.
If they're like, if I need to, I'll go to the vet appointment with them. We don't require that, but
Right.
if we don't have, if the closest person's 2 hours away and an emergency comes up, what do you do?
Yeah.
And then so we are all over the state, but some areas we don't have someone. We're trying to grow. Like, we just Gainesville and Tallahassee are two areas that we've been trying to grow.
Okay.
So and I'm trying really hard, but I just adopted a dog to an amazing family in Gainesville who
Hmm.
have extensive rescue experience, with a rescue out in Montana, where they used to live, and they were on the board and all of these things, and I'm super excited about them. And they're actually going to do a transport for me on Sunday. They just adopted, now they're going to do a transport, and so I'm super excited because they're like, we will help you in any way that we possibly can. And like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not fostering. I mean, they may foster down the line. I don't know. I have no idea, but they want to help do other things, transport. They want to do home checks. They want to, maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe they end up being coordinators for me in that area.
Yeah.
I don't know yet,
Right.
but we're trying to grow Tallahassee, Gainesville, and the Panhandle, Pensacola
Hmm.
area as another
Yeah.
place where we've got two fosters over there. Um, only have two right now, but we're trying to grow because that's kind of a
Hmm.
dead zone. We consider
Yeah.
that Georgia. That falls under me, but it's considered Georgia because everybody in Florida is like, that's too far away.
Yeah, it is.
That is very far away. But we're trying to grow that area too. So,
Mhm.
but we are in a lot of the major cities: Orlando, the villages. Cape Coral, Fort Myers.
Yeah.
We're in a lot of the major locations. And as long as you're willing to drive to our vet, to the rescue vet in that area, you can live an hour away. I don't care. As long as you're
Hmm.
willing to drive to the vet and you're willing, to do that to meet your coordinator, that's fine. Um, but so in Atlanta, we're more in Georgia, we're more focused in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and we don't really have anyone in other areas like Savannah, or we do have someone in Augusta. We do have one person in Augusta. But just because Atlanta is the biggest city, that's where we see the
Yeah.
biggest need.
Right.
So we haven't really had to branch out. I don't get a ton of foster apps anyways, but I don't get a lot for outside of Atlanta.
Hmm.
So, most of my fosters are in Atlanta. I've got one in North Georgia, one in Augusta, like I said, but
Hmm.
the majority are in the around. And when I say, I mean, if you've ever been to Atlanta, I live like in the city in Buckhead, but it could be north, it could be Marietta, it could be Norcross, it could be the suburbs surrounding Atlanta. It doesn't have to be right in the city. We have
Right.
quite a few rescue vets within, this hour, let's say hour radius of the
Hmm.
city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can live out in the burbs and it's totally fine. There's probably a rescue vet out there.
Yeah.
You don't have to drive into the city. No one ever wants to drive to my house. No one ever wants to
Right.
meet me in Buckhead. I'm like, I get it. It's fine. But
Yeah. Traffic is
yeah.
terrible there.
So yeah. People are like, oh, can I meet you anywhere but your house? I'm like,
Right.
yes, it's fine. So I get it. So yeah, so that's the deal with fosters. And
Hmm.
I get a lot of people that are worried that oh, I can't foster. I'm never going to be able to give them up. I'm like, that's what everybody says.
Hmm.
That everybody says that. And I kind of, I go back to my childhood when I used to tell my parents that, oh, I hate onions. I hate onions. Well, have you ever had an onion? Well,
Right.
no, but they're gross. Well, how do you know you don't like something if you've never
Yeah.
tried it? To
And it's
me,
not
that
the
gives the,
worst thing to foster fail. Like if they foster
no.
fail, okay, we got an adoption on our hands. Keep it
It,
moving, you
right?
know?
Exactly. It's not a problem. And
Yeah.
that's what I say. If you get that dog and you're like, oh my God, I absolutely cannot let it go, and the dog is a fit for your home,
Yeah.
that's fine. Not a problem. I
Right.
mean, that's okay. But I will say, I would say 99% of my fosters at some point with their first one, they were like, oh, I think I want to keep the dog. And if I can talk them out of it, I mean, sometimes I'm like, fine, that's fine.
Right.
This is meant to be. This is
Right.
meant to
Right.
be. But most of the time, I'm like, no, this is just your first foster, and you just have to get through the first adoption. If you can get through this first adoption, trust me, you will understand what rescue is all about and why we do it, and how rewarding and what a positive experience it is. And any sadness that this dog is leaving your house is totally outweighed by the feeling of happiness once
Hmm.
you see your foster pug getting that perfect home for them.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people, fosters, have thanked me for talking them out of keeping their first dog. And
Hmm.
they're like, thank you so much for basically telling me no and talking me out of it, because you were right. You were right. It was just that first time of just doing something for the first time. And then I had this one foster who, I think she's on her like 11th, they're on their 11th dog with us. It's this retired couple. They're amazing. And
Hmm.
they have no other dogs. The first, she has told me, because the first one, she was like, oh, we're going to keep this dog, keep this dog. And I was like, no, Patty, no, you are not no. And just get through it. They're now on like dog 11. And I say they're retired because that they had recently retired when they started fostering, and their pugs had passed away. So they're like, well, we're going to foster. We've got extra time on our hands. and then they were going to keep one, but then keep the first one. And I kind of, please don't, we really need you. And talked her out of it. And she's like, thank you so much, because it's the perfect thing for retired people who want to travel. Because
Mm-hmm.
she's like, her and her husband Jim, she's like, we told each other that once we retired, we were going to travel for like three or 4 years before we, got another dog or whatever. You can travel. You can do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to do. She'll be like, hey, we need to take a 3 month break. No problem at all. And then she's like, comes back, when am I getting my next dog? And it's boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. She'll take like 4 fosters in a row. But
Uh-huh.
she tells me all the time, she's like, it's awesome for being a retired person who
Yeah.
has the extra time, but they don't want the full-time responsibility of a dog. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know she has a foster right now. They're going on a trip October 10th. I know that I've already got someone lined up to foster sit their dog. And she knows that. She's not worried about it. She
Right.
knows that we've got somebody. Um, and then they don't have the responsibility of the dog full time. Also, the financial responsibility.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay. A lot of people are on fixed incomes.
Right.
Once you retire, you don't have, all this money coming in. You've got what your pension is, or your 401k, or whatever, your social security, whatever it may be. You don't have all this money to spend on these expensive pugs.
Yeah.
So guess what? You foster, you get the joy of having these animals, and you don't pay for it. You don't pay
Right.
for you only pay for really what you want to pay for. You want to go
Yeah.
out and buy brand new toys and some fun treats, have at it. But
Mm-hmm.
we will supply you with everything else.
Yeah.
We will supply all of the things for your foster.
Mm-hmm. It's the
And
perfect
you don't
setup.
have to it's a great setup. And I try to tell, my parents are of that retirement age, and I'm like, please tell your friends, like, it's the perfect thing. Even my
Mm-hmm.
mom is, so she's like, as soon as I get my yard fenced in. You don't have to have a fenced yard. She just doesn't want to walk a dog. She's just lazy. You don't have to have a fenced yard. But she's like, well, once I have a fenced yard, I want to start fostering, because she's like, I can't afford a pug, but I would love to have the companionship. Because
Yeah.
she lives alone, and she's like, I'd love to have the companionship.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I will get you a dog, and I'm going to fence in your yard just to go take one. But,
Right.
so, so just, if you just, I'm like, just try it once.
Yeah.
And if fostering's not for you, that's fine.
Right.
That is totally fine. I have
Yeah.
no problem, but just try it.
Yeah.
Just give me a weekend, and, just give me 3 days,
Right.
and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
do you guys have any fundraisers coming up or any events or anything to tell people
We
about?
do. We absolutely do. So we have two big rescue events that we put on twice a year. There's one in Florida and one in Georgia. So the one in Georgia is coming up November 15th. It's called Pug Fest, and it is in Atlanta at a brewery called Firemaker Brewing. And the information's on our website under the events. It says at the top there's events, and then there's Pug Fest, and then the next one is PugsGiving, which is in April of next year, and that's in Florida. And that is in St. Augustine, Florida on April 18th. The Southern Oaks Inn, which is an awesome hotel that has this beautiful park with all these shade trees, and they have a fenced-in dog park, and it's a pet friendly hotel. And they have a shuttle that takes you, because they're, I don't know, maybe a mile or so from downtown, not that far,
Uh-huh.
but they have a shuttle that takes you, and the dogs can go on the shuttle too.
Cute. I love
Yeah,
that. That's not
it's
far from
great.
me, so I love
Yeah,
that. I gotta
you should
go.
come. It's April 18th. Yep. And
Okay.
so it's really fun. So we've got November 15th in Atlanta, Pug Fest, and then PugsGiving is April 18th in St. Augustine next year. All that information's on our website under the events. And then we have various local community events, either in Florida or in Georgia throughout the year.
Hmm.
That we either participate in, like we've got something in Tampa called Squeeze the Day that Delaney's Lemonade Stand is putting on, and we're going to be a vendor and participate
Hmm.
in that.
Okay.
And then sometimes, like in Atlanta, there's a ton of breweries in the Atlanta area, and we'll partner up with them and go and do like like a give back, like they'll have like a giving tap, or like a Monday, or like there's something, Give Back Monday, I think is one of them that we do, and we'll go to a certain brewery, and all of the sales from that night are donated to the rescue, and we'll take foster pugs, and it's just a good way to meet people, to meet foster pugs, and
Yeah.
also for our, fosters and volunteers to hang out and talk to each other and recruit new people.
Hmm.
So we don't have anything planned right now because Pug Fest is coming up, but
Hmm.
in Atlanta. But if we do, the best way to find out about stuff is go on our social media. Follow us on social media. We've got Facebook, Instagram. It's Pug Rescue FLGA, like Pug Rescue Florida, Georgia. We make it
Hmm.
very simple. PugRescueFLGA.com, Pug Rescue FLGA on Facebook, Instagram. And then you can also sign up. Everything's also on our website, but you can sign up for our emails. And I'd say we probably send an email every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 2 emails a month. We don't send a
Hmm.
ton, but we will send emails about adoptable dogs, about events coming up. We do online fundraisers as well. Like we have one that just started today where we partner with a small business,
Hmm.
and they'll do Bully Soaps is the one right now, and it's like an online, and she makes handmade soaps and different things, and a percentage of all the proceeds for the next 2 weeks she'll donate back to the rescue.
Well, that's great.
All, yeah, so all that's on our website as well. But if you sign up for emails or follow us on social media, you will definitely get all of that info on the regular basis. So you don't have to keep rechecking the website.
Hmm.
That's probably the best way to find out about what's going on. But yeah, we're trying to get out in the community as much as possible because it is, like you said in the very beginning, it's so interesting to me, especially in Florida, people that have no idea we exist, that
Yeah.
have no idea. And I'm in a ton of groups on Facebook, different, pug groups and,
Right.
whatever. And people will be posting, oh, I wish there was, I saw one in Tampa the other day. Oh, I wish there was a pug rescue near me. And I'm like, you're
You're
in
like, hello.
Tampa. I'm like, hello. Like, and of course, all these people commented, like, Pug Rescue of Florida and Georgia. Oh my gosh, Pug Rescue of Florida and Georgia. And and I'm like, how do you not know? We've had events in Tampa, but if you don't see it, you just, I mean, I don't know about everything either, but
Right.
just in the pug community, pug people are very, we see a pug on the street and we're like accosting them. So normally people know about anything pug related, but just spreading the word and getting the word out about the rescue, and also that yes, you can get young pugs from a
Yeah.
pug rescue if that's what you want. That's
Right.
fine. We do get young pugs. They're not
Right.
all 15 years old and dying. But you know what? Even if they are 15 years old, please adopt our
Yeah.
seniors. They
Yeah.
deserve love too.
I
They
love the little
deserve it
seniors.
even more, in my opinion, because their lives have been turned upside down, and
Hmm.
seniors are the best. They're potty trained. They don't need you to exercise, run with them, and and throw the
Yeah.
ball all the time. And,
Right.
they're low maintenance. They're just little cuddle bugs and low maintenance,
Yeah.
in general. Again, not all seniors are,
Right. 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 Yeah.
not all of them are, but seniors need love. Seniors need love too. So,
Yeah.
but you can let's just say this, rescue, we have all types of pugs. We
Hmm.
have young pugs, old pugs, small pugs, big pugs. We have active pugs, we have lazy pugs, we have all kinds. We run the gamut of pugs. So don't think you just have to go and buy a dog. Please rescue if you can. Please at
Hmm.
least attempt
Yeah.
to rescue, because there's
Right.
so many that need homes. So
Hmm.
many.
So many.
So
Well, Lauren,
many.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
everything you do. I know you're a volunteer like everyone at your
Yes.
organization. And so thank you for educating us on this. I can't wait for everyone to listen. Make sure if you're listening to this to go follow Pug Rescue of Florida and Georgia. Make sure you sign up for their emails and be on the lookout for their events. So thank you so much, Lauren.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.